Hello and welcome to my Nightblade tank build video for the Elder Scrolls Online. This build is on the Elsewhere PTS, so some of the gear and skills as shown may be subject to change. With that being said, let's jump right in. Looking at the stats, we are running with 40,000 Magicka on the front bar with 40k health, 20k stamina. On the back bar we are running 39,700 Magicka, 40k health and 19,600 stamina. When we buff up, our spell resistance on the front bar goes up to 32,000 with 31,600 physical resistance. We have 32,700 spell resistance on the back bar with 32,400 physical resistance on the front bar. Our recovery goes up to 1,551 and our spell damage, when we actually will go up to 2,000. Looking at the gear sets to see how we achieve these. So, the idea behind this was to make a tank that was as simple to run with as much resources and as little buff management for players who are new to the tanking role or are wanting to go through content that they haven't done before and would rather pay more attention to what's going on around them rather than keeping track of their counters all the time. So to do this we are running 3 sets. The monster set is the Mighty Chunjun's Visage. This is going to give us for our 1-piece spell resistance and physical resistance. Our 2-piece is going to give us maximum health, and it's going to be giving us our major ward and major resolve at all times. For our main armor set on the body, we are running the Twice Born Star. This is going to give us maximum health, maximum stamina, maximum magicka, and it's going to allow us to run 2 Munda Stones rather than the one that we would normally have. And for our jewellery and weapons, we are running the new set from Elsewhere, Crafty Alfiques, and this is magicka all the way down. So this is how we're going to be able to push up our stats to where I've got them. On all of the body pieces, we are running Divines with tri-stats, with the exception of the chest, which is going to be reinforced. On our rings, we are running 2 Magicka Recovery, 1 Spell Damage, with the traits being Tri-Rune, Healthy, and Arcane. Front bar, we are running an Infused Weapon with weapon damage and spell damage. That's what's going to help buff up our damage to 2k. It's not necessary, you can run a Magicka Absorption on this bar. I just prefer to have the 2k because it makes doing content where I'm not in squad a little bit more bearable. And for our shield, we are running a Nirnhund with another tri-stat. Nirnhund again, not necessary, reinforced will work here, sturdy will work here as well. I just like this because it's just bumping up my stats. And on the back bar we are running a Crushing Enchantment on an Ice Staff, which has the defending trait, which is how we're sitting nicely over 32,000 defense on our back bar. Onwards to skills. So for our passives, we have all passives from each of the Assassination, Shadowing and Siphoning. I find on a Nightblade, especially when you're tanking, you really do benefit from having at least a Siphoning skill, 1 Assassination skill, and then your Shadow skills. I'm trying to run 3 Shadow skills on each bar. This is what's helping buff up our health with the Dark Vigor passive. If and when you choose to move on with this gear set and switch the helmet out, Shadow Barrier is what you're going to be using to keep your major ward and resolve up. And then the other one's just sort of basically giving you increased resource recovery, and dark veil, so it is really nice. You do want to be keeping shadow skills on both bars. Siphoning is going to give you extra magicka, so that's another one that's important to have. For your weapons, just get everything again, especially on your destruction staff. As you don't have a taunt on the back bar, it's important that you have your trifocus so that your heavy attacks are going to be allowing you to taunt. On your armor, you want everything for heavy. Medium, you only need the bottom one and the top two. These two are essentially because I've been playing around with builds and setups. And the light armor, you only need the top three. Essentially, if it says 5 pieces on medium or light, it's not required for this build. Onto world skills. Soul magic, you only need the bottom two. I am a vampire for this build. I do find the extra resource recovery is nice. I also do find that it's nice to have that extra damage mitigation when you drop down to bottom. This is also a nice ultimate which you can put into the flex spot, which I'll get onto when I talk about the skills. From guild, fighters, intimidating presence, and banish the wicked. Mage guild, I do take them all. There is an option with the skills where I do run a mage ability, so I do find you benefit from having all of them. Psijic order doesn't really matter. There is a place where you could put in a Psijic skill, but I generally don't find I need it. And the Undaunted, obviously you want your bottom two abilities. Onto the racials. So I am a Breton for this build, and the passives are the reason why. It will work with other ones, but I find that this is a nice setup for how I play. Gift of the Madness is giving you extra max magicka. This is a magicka build, so it's nice to have some magicka before you even start. Spell Attunement is giving you spell resistance, which negates the need to put any CP into this. You also gain additional magicka recovery. And the last one, Magicka Mastery, is giving you cost reduction on your magicka abilities, which, as I'm not running light armor, this is also nice to help the sustain. Crafting, alchemy, the only one you need is medicinal use. And then provisioning, you want the ones for increasing the duration of your buffs. So onto our actual skill bar. On our front bar we have Pierce, that's our taunt. It's also our source of Major Fracture and Major Breach for debuffing the boss. Concealed Weapon, that's our main spammable. Sap Essence, this is our AoE. This is going to give you your Major Sorcery, and it's going to give you heals, which increase the more enemies you hit. It also has the benefit of healing allies who are within range. Then we have Mass Hysteria. This skill with the rework I'm finding is really good. It's giving Nightblade tanks something they were kind of lacking before, which was the ability to root down multiple opponents and help protect your other squad mates. This combined with Sap Essence is very good for sitting with your healer during those really big pulls and keeping your healer safe and alive. And then you have Dark Cloak. It's a really good ability now. The 8 seconds of minor protection, and then you're going to be healing. The heal's based off your health, and essentially you want to be trying keeping that up as much as possible, which is why again it's nice to have the Breton passive, which is going to be reducing the cost. The ult for your front bar is Flex. I like Soul Harvest as a basic go-to, as you're going to be gaining ultimate quicker when things die. It's got the Major Defile, which is useful on a number of bosses, and at 70 ultimate is pretty cheap, but you can swap in Aggressive Warhorn here. There's Barrier you could put in. Bat Swarm as I showed before, and you can also run, if you want, the ultimate for your one hand and shield, and I would go for Shield Discipline, as again that's just reducing the amount of stamina you're going to need to go through. Onto the back bar. So we have no taunt on the back bar, as I said before. Ice Staff heavy attacks will give you a taunt at range. Our first skill is going to be Siphoning Attacks. Go for the Magicka version of this, as you'll get on your front bar stamina from your heavy attacks. This is going to put some Magicka on those heavy attacks as well. And if you're spamming heavy attacks on your back bar to regen your Magicka, this helps you regen it even faster. Blockade of Frost is a bit of a flexible one. You can add that down for when you're going to be doing a lot of trash. Another option is Swallow Soul for a bit more survivability, or you can go for Crippling Grasp for a bit more damage. The last option would be the Mage Guild ability Degeneration. This is going to give you 40k Magicka on both bars if you like big numbers. It also gives you the slight health recovery and a chance for even a bit more health recovery when you're light and heavy attacking. Our next skill is Dark Shade. This skill's been improved on the Elsewhere, so it's going to do a bit more damage. It's going to feel a lot better to use. It's also got the Minor Maim, which is going to help keep the damage down both for yourself and for your teammates. This is the second and last buff that you're going to need to manage yourself with this, and that's Mirage. Mirage is going to give you Major Evasion, Minor Resolve and Minor Ward. It's going to reduce your damage from AoEs by 25%, and it's going to give you another buff to your physical and spell resistance, which is how we're hitting those caps. Last skill on this ability is Twisting Path. You can swap this for Refreshing Path if you feel that you're in need of a bit more healing, or if you want to support the healer. The other option I would go for, if you're feeling like you're getting squished a bit while on your back bar, would be Dark Cloak. And that leads us to the ultimate, which is Bolstering Darkness. Either of these versions are good. I do personally quite like Veil, but this is obviously a better one for squad utility, as it's going to be giving that major protection to everyone for the duration of the ability, not just while they're standing inside it. And that gives us our 1, 2 and 3 shadow skills on the back bar, 3 shadow skills on the front bar. We have our Siphoning and Assassination, and if you're running on the back bar your Soul Harvest, your Assassination, the main reason for the Assassination is to give the critical damage bonus to your stamina DPSs whenever you crit. So onwards to CP. This is one part of the build I'm still kind of testing and playing around with, so this isn't set in stone at the moment, but we'll go through them all. In the Steed, 56 points into Ironclad for the 20% reduction. As I said before, you're a Breton, so you don't need anything into Spell Shield. On the Lady, 56, 56 and 28, that's giving you 12% across the board. And on the Lord, we're going for Heavy Armor Focus at 25, and then Quick Recovery at 49 for the 11% increased healing received. Don't really need anything in Bastion, as we're not playing with a shield. You can put a shield on your back bar. I would swap it out for possibly Shades, as your heavy attacks on your back bar will give you a damage shield via your passives for Destruction Staff, and damage shields are effectively temporary hit points, so that's going to be putting you back up to where you would be anyway. Onwards to the greens. In the tower, I've just gone for 12% break free. I don't really run around a lot, and bashing is done infrequently enough that I don't feel that we need it reduced too much. This is the one which I'm still sort of playing around with. I do feel that you are best with 75% into Arcanist. I wouldn't go any higher, it's the additional 25 points to hit the 15% isn't worth it. Tenacity 56% for, 56 points for the 12%. On heavy attacks, you also get a bonus for wearing heavy armor to this. You can take some points out of this and push that up to the 75 as well, and then just have any spare where you feel you would like to put them in. And then on the last, for the greens, the shadow, we have 56 points into the shadow ward to reduce our costing by 20%, our blocking by 20%, and then 18 points into tumbling. This is just to give us dodge rolling. This one I do think you need to do, as you will be dodge rolling more than you'll be sprinting or bashing, so this is the one I would focus on if you were taking points out of here. Onto the blues. In the apprentice, we start off with blast, 8% healing for 32 points. Elfborn, we're putting 37 points for the 15%. This is going to give us increase. It's mostly for the healing rather than the damage, but it is nice to have a bit more damage when you're running around by yourself. Spell erosion, 5,000. Again, this is going to help you with doing stuff by yourself. And if you're running the Swallow Soul on your back bar, the increased penetration will mean you do more damage, which means you get more heals. We're not running light armor, or we're not running a 5-piece set of light armor, so any extra penetration you can get really does help push it up. 49 points into Elemental Expert. Into the Atronach, I've only gone into Master at Arms for 75%. As you're switching between the two, it doesn't really benefit you hugely having points in one. That isn't going to affect the other, so I just went for straight up Master at Arms and nothing into the ritual. So that's us. It's still, as I say, a bit more of a concept rather than a final piece, but I thought I would put it out there for people to have a look at, see what's kind of possible. Feel free to comment below, and have a good day.